kind of odd being on video instead of in person with everybody like we normally are, but I'm glad to be here anyway. As some of you know, I'm Kevin McDonald. I'm the COO and CISO of Alvaka Networks, but what you may not know is that I am also a master goldsmith, a fiction writer, and a glass artist. I guess the big question is, why do I talk so much about cybersecurity? Well, first of all, it's what I do, but more importantly, the why is that I see every day people's lives and businesses being threatened and in some cases fundamentally destroyed. We're seeing good people who've worked hard for their entire lives lose everything that they've worked for in the click of a button. And so it's more to me than just, hey, this is what I do and please listen to me. You really are at risk of losing a lot. Our country's at risk, our infrastructure's at risk, people's livelihoods. We've seen companies disappear, hundreds of people lose their jobs, millions of dollars that could have gone to R&D or to employment or the benefit of other people is going to bad actors. So I really have made it my life's mission to try to put a stop to it, make people aware of the things that are just horrible and far beyond anything of someone's email or their credit card getting lost. This is fundamental destruction of businesses and other organizations, including nonprofits, hospitals, government entities, etc. In the past, in general, we could focus on a location or a couple of large locations and put a box around it, put some endpoint controls and deal with the computers that are within that environment. But today that's not how it works. Most people are now working from home, so we really have to focus the education more than ever on the end user, more than ever on how to deal with devices that are not often controlled by the organization themselves at all, and that are often shared in shared environments and resources that are not focused anymore just on one person. So we really have tried to change the awareness function, rise to the point of the end user is the key to keeping organizations secure in most cases, and in fact 80% or more of the major attacks that we see are an end user error, clicking on the wrong link or going to the wrong site or opening the wrong file. So what we've done is we've spent a lot of time trying to get above the noise of the crisis itself, because it's hard. People are dying. People are sick. It's really difficult to get ahead of that. And we want to stay positive and understand that there are innovative and new exciting ways to help defend people and to help our community while dealing with this lockdown and the other controls that have been put in place to stop COVID-19. The reality is they're counting the bad actors today, especially in COVID-19. Just try to slow down, think about what you're doing. If you get a link that says go somewhere, don't click the link. Go wherever it is without using the link that's been provided. Always question. If someone sends you a file and you weren't expecting it, take the time to pick up the phone and call them and say, did you send me this file? Because if you didn't, don't open it. Many times we're seeing people's emails that have been compromised, and then that email is then used to, quote, use the friendliness or the familiarity of that individual to get you to take an action you normally wouldn't. So be skeptical and just slow down. Take the time to think twice, because it will destroy everything you own and everybody you work with if you just click one of the wrong things. We focus heavily on domestic staffing, and we do not use offshore professionals for our engineering and our high-end work. In fact, all of our staff are based here, and I think it's really important that we invest in the future of our country and of our citizens and those that are here trying to make a good living. And we're very cognizant of the fact we may have to pay a little more, or maybe a little bit more complicated for sometimes, but it works for us very well, and it is something we're proud in. We actually advertise the fact that we have all domestic staff. A lot of what we do because we care about the people that we work for, and I hope that our legacy is that we showed in everything that we do and every action that we take that it really is about people. It's about the community that we support. It's about the companies that we're rescuing. I have had more tearful conversations, and I mean legitimately tearful conversations, with people who've invested everything and just don't know what to do. So I'm hoping our legacy is to be in the memory of those people, that we were there for them when they needed us, that we're here to try to put up the fence and to try to defend good people from bad actors, and also to try to be a positive solution rather than just scaring people. And we want to be here to try to help you not be the victim in the first place, and then of course be here to rescue if you do become one. I think it's vitally important that we try to see ahead, try to be visionary, try to see the things that are coming in advance, and try to use our history and our skills to give the next generation the opportunity that they really need. It's really great to work for an organization that understands that people have things outside of work that matter. We have people who ride for MS. We have folks that are advocates for tribal rights. We have myself, of course, that's heavily involved in defending victims of crime and preventing crime in the first place. We've spent a great deal as an organization fighting for public policy that's positive for businesses so we can employ more people and do these things. And honestly, there's not a lot of companies that allow that to happen within the framework of the normal workday. And our organization is very well tuned to say, if you really need to do that phone call or you need to do that thing that has to do with supporting that thing you believe so much in, have at it, go for it. And that's an unusual place to be, and it's really great to work here. It's one of the reasons why I'm still here. I spend a lot of my time volunteering. I've worked with WebWise Kids and the education of children and internet safety. I've worked with the Crime Survivors group here in Orange County for many years to try to help rescue people from sex trafficking and so on. I've volunteered 12 years of my life to the Orange County Sheriff's Department to provide advice that the sheriff and the command staff need, that's unfiltered and disinterested. That's volunteer time. I don't get paid for it, so therefore my advice is really because it's the right thing for the department to do. I'm now doing the same thing with the Anaheim Chief of Police, providing volunteer time there as well. It's extremely fulfilling to know that you're using whatever skill that you have, whatever it is, to bring forward or to help pull forward those things that you believe in. I put my time behind what I believe, and I invest a lot in volunteering. And if I believe in it, I will invest a very significant part of my life to make that work. We as a country need to get back to understanding what we believe and being willing to invest our time and our wealth and our relationships in those things that matter. Those of you that don't know, I'm a master goldsmith, and I have spent a bunch of time putting my shop back together. I've just recently learned how to do stained glass. I'm a fiction writer. I have one book that's been out for a number of years, and I have another book that is literally due out in September, October. Working very hard to get that finished. It's hard to find time to write fiction in the midst of the reality that we live in. But I'm pretty proud of trying to find that balance. I have these conversations with people. They ask me, how do you go from being a goldsmith to a computer security expert, and isn't that a weird transition? And the reality is no. Both are an art of sort. Both of them require immense creativity. And I now am starting to lean back on the physical arts more, because I find that the time that I spend unfocused on what I do every day, being creative actually opens up new channels of thought that you just can't get when you're doing the drudge and you're doing the grind every day. I also believe that when you're dealing with something that can be as dark as what we deal with on a daily basis, it's really a good thing to be able to have a little light in your life and to be able to put out something positive. So even the fiction I write is a little dark and it touches on really hard subjects, but I try to say it's entertaining in the face of really dark subjects, and that's one of the reasons why I think the art is so important to me, because it projects that there's two sides to who I am and where I come from. I tell everybody, just do as many good things as you can and learn and master as much as you possibly can, because at some point you're going to get to put it together and create amazing things, whatever it might be. We all as a community have been supporting each other for a long time. Susan and Terry, of course, have done a lot for this community to bring us together and give us the opportunity to be a family and to continue on for 25 years. And I hope that this community can continue to do that, and that we can continue to support each other and to see the future and constantly innovate to do the next best thing and be the best as we can at whatever we're doing. So thank you to everybody who I've worked with. I've had some really fantastic relationships with many of you, and I hope to have more. And let's hope that the balance of 2020 and the next 25 years are even better.